Today we're going to be looking at an early preview of Regal Robot's latest addition to their archive collection, and it's the new Yuzzum Maquette Replica. And Yuzzum has such a cool Star Wars redemption story that I can't wait to tell you about. But before we do that, let's unbox it and see what's inside. Now, keep in mind, this is a very extremely limited dual signature legacy edition, and Regal Robot's only releasing 40 of these. And just like all the other maquettes in this line, Regal Robot went into the Lucasfilm archives and digitally scanned the original maquette. And these are all handmade in their New York studios here in the United States. And this one's really unique because it's actually a dual signature legacy edition that's going to come with a unique sketch by Nilo Rodis-Jamero, but it's also going to come with a dual signature plaque with not only Nilo's autograph, but also Judy Elkins, who was the original sculptor. And Yuzzum's actually one of the largest Return of the Jedi maquettes. This one's almost 12 inches tall, including the base that it stands on. And in true Regal Robot fashion, they actually used the same fake fur from the same source used by the creature makers back in 1983. And because of the thin legs, Regal Robot provides this museum-style post to keep the maquette upright. And what's really cool is that Regal Robot even recreated the Kit Bash blaster that was in the original maquette that was long lost in the archives. So let's talk about the history. So Yuzzum started as a concept art sketch created by Nilo Rodis-Jamero, and eventually Judy Elkins created the concept maquette, which you see here and still exists in the archives today. And Yuzzum was selected in pre-production by George Lucas to be in the film, and they actually created a life-size puppet that was supposed to be in Return of the Jedi. And although this character didn't get any screen time originally, you do see him in a lot of the behind-the-scenes documentaries, like in classic Creatures and From Star Wars to Jedi. But it wasn't until the special editions in the 90s where Yuzzum got his big break, because they renamed the character Joe Yoza, and he became the new Rebo Band singer. And as you could probably remember, he even got a big solo. But the concept maquette was no stranger to the spotlight either, because it was even shown in the Smithsonian cover that features a lot of the other concept maquettes. So of course, this is a great addition to Regal Robot's concept maquette replica collection from their archive collection, and they just did a fantastic job on this. And like always, Regal Robot's attention to detail is amazing, because this blaster actually doesn't even exist in the Lucasfilm archives anymore. So Regal Robot did some deep diving and basically researched the small Polaroids that exist out there and basically figured out what kit bash parts they used for the rifle, and they sourced the parts to recreate the replica. And like I mentioned before, it's not even just the blaster, the fur itself. When Regal Robot went into the archives, they immediately recognized the fur, and they were able to actually source the fur from basically the same place that the original 1983 fur was sourced from. And again, all of the little details from the shoes to just the paint job on this are just fantastic. When you compare it next to the, little Polaroids that you find of the maquette, I mean, this thing is spot on. It's beautiful. And as you can see here, it matches. And what's really interesting is that the original maquette has Rodis and Elkins written on it because, of course, Nilo Rodis-Jamero created the original sketch, and then of course Judy Elkins created the original maquette. So Regal Robot is releasing a legacy edition with a dual signature that's going to include both Nilo Rodis-Jamero and Judy Elkins on the signature plaque. But not only that, it's going to include a unique sketch made by Nilo Rodis-Jamero, and it's only going to be limited to 40 pieces, which is extremely limited, especially for such a fan favorite piece here. Not only are you getting two signatures from two of the original creators of Yuzzum, but again, an original sketch by Nilo Rodis-Jamero. I mean, this thing is just a piece of Star Wars history that you must have. And Nilo did such an amazing job with the sketches. They're all really fun and unique. Now they are also doing a signature edition that's going to be limited to 83 pieces, and this one will include Judy Elkins' autograph. And because both pieces are super limited, they will sell out. And this is a must if you want to bring the band back together, which I'm going to do right now. Now the Yuzzum species was originally intended to be an Endor alien alongside of the Ewoks. But of course they changed all that in the 1990s special editions, because not only did they change his name from Yuzzum to Joe Yoza and made him kind of the lead singer of Max Rebo's band, which turned him from one of these obscure characters in the background that got no screen time to one of the lead characters in that whole Jabba scene. And some of the old school people might say it's a little controversial because, of course, they ended up changing the original song, and of course they threw in a lot of CGI to make this character come to life. But I think that's why this concept maquette replica is such an important piece, because it is kind of the union of, you know, the old school concept maquette, the original character, and then obviously, you know, how it led to how they used them in the special editions. Now, like I mentioned before, this blaster was lost in the archives. So currently, as it sits in the archives, it's not holding the blaster. So you could even display it as is, you know, how it sits in the archives, or how it was originally intended to be with the blaster. And the cool thing is, now we're just missing Size Snoodles to complete Max Rebo's band. So both editions go on sale on March 25th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Regal Robot's website. And the cool thing is, the artists are already working on the first waves of production of these replicas, so they expect to ship these if they're paid in full within a few weeks. So don't miss out on getting this super exclusive piece of Star Wars history. And guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to join Regal Robot's fan group on Facebook, because they're dropping a lot of cool contests over there, and you get a lot of early information about these concept maquettes and all of the other Regal Robot products that are coming out. So thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.